We are very grateful to all the mediators for the diplomatic efforts that made this important step forward possible. I am referring to the governments of Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, but I am especially referring to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who has dedicated extraordinary energy to achieving what is an undeniable success for him. After a long time, we are faced with a credible prospect toward a just and lasting peace in the Middle East. The events of recent hours demonstrate how fragile the balance is and how it is subjected to daily risks, and the international community is called to diffuse those risks with determination and patience. The violation of the ceasefire by Hamas once again demonstrates who the main enemy of the Palestinians is, but the subsequent Israeli retaliation, which materialized to new civilian victims in the disruption of humanitarian aid transit, represents another choice we do not agree with. However, the path taken with the signing of the truce is the only one worth pursuing, the only one that can lead to the realization of the two-state solution. Italy urges all parties to seize the opportunity provided by this opening of peace by respecting the terms of the plan and, of course, is ready to take a leading role. In the immediate term, the resumption of humanitarian aid to the population of Gaza is crucial, with a renewed central role for the United Nations. We have been the first to create university corridors that have so far allowed us to welcome 39 students with scholarships to Italy, because there is no more effective way to aid the creation of the State of Palestine than by supporting the education of its future leadership. We are ready to provide all necessary support to the Palestinian National Authority, including in the training of leadership, so that it can soon assume full governmental responsibilities within recognized borders. Italy is equally ready to actively contribute to the day after, even participating, if requested, in the work of the Board of Peace, the provisional governing body for the Strip. We are ready to do our part in terms of restoring essential infrastructure at home, especially healthcare, and we have also expressed our full willingness to be co-organizers of the Conference on the Reconstruction of the Strip that will be held in Cairo after the ceasefire. From a security perspective, we are finally ready to participate in a possible international stabilization force and to continue supporting the Palestinian National Authority in the training of its forces, in strengthening operational capabilities. Our support for the Ukrainian people remains steadfast, determined, with the sole aim to achieve peace. However, such peace must be just and not a result of oppression, which implies a fair solution arising from a credible negotiation process in which clearly no decision about Ukraine can be made without Ukraine, and no decision about European security can be made without Europe. But the other two pillars on which this security architecture must rest from our point of view include a political component with an assistance mechanism modeled on Article 5 of the Atlantic Pact, and a reassurance component provided by the so-called coalition of the willing. On this latter, however, let me again clearly reiterate the position of the government. Each nation will contribute to these efforts to the extent that it can and deems necessary. Italy has already clarified that it does not foresee sending its soldiers to Ukrainian territory. To reach the negotiating table, it is therefore necessary to also increase pressure on Moscow, as we are doing with the 19th package of European sanctions we are approving, which will further help to reduce the ability of more of the resources that Moscow can allocate to the war effort, because it is worth repeating an important concept. Economic sanctions are not against the Russian people. They are against the regime that transforms Russia's wealth into weapons and destruction. We all know and support the need to protect the eastern flank of Europe and NATO, but we cannot allow the southern flank of the EU to be overlooked. The security of the alliance's external borders is indivisible. We must also be prepared to face the threats to our security posed by conflicts and instability in the Middle East, in Libya, in the Sahel, in the Horn of Africa. Meanwhile, Italy has already begun the path of strengthening its defense by joining the facilitated funding provided by Safe Security Action for Europe, with the allocation of 14.9 billion euros.